Ako'y magaling na. Ako'y lalakad. Sa pangyayari ni Jesus, ako'y tatayo. Mga bahagi ng ating katawang namamanhid, namamanas.
Are we alone in the universe? Is there a portal to the past? Could we physically travel through time? Can a person come back from the dead? These are just some of the questions that have continued to baffle and bewilder us. Though many have tried to answer them, not one definite conclusion has been given. This program will tackle that which is unexpected, unexplainable, and unorthodox. Is it destiny's sleight of hand? Or maybe it's a nudge from God? Or is it simply a matter of science? Chances are, anything is possible. These are just a few of the thousands of believers who flock to the quaint town of Lucban. It is He that they came to see. He whom they believe could heal their sickness.
Magaling na ako. Sa pangalan ni Jesus. Ha? Tayo po na. Punta tayo sa mahal na Birhen. Sige po. Mahal na Birhen.
Actually, my mom is a breast cancer patient, and right now she's having a pain in her chest.
Ay, okay naman. Tsaka hindi na ako masyadong nahirapan huminga.
Ano po siya? Hindi siya
Nakakalakad ko, pero masakit.
masakit? Jesus, heal me. I believe in you. Okay, let's go.
I think yes. His belief is always belief for Jesus, isn't it? Yes, his belief that Jesus. Because this one, that's my problem. Since that this one, no more pain.
During the time of Jesus, they say He cured those who needed His help. Both believers and non-believers alike became recipients of His healing power. The blind began to see, the deaf began to hear, and the lame began to walk. But to this day, there are those that believe that Jesus continues to reach out to the sick and downtrodden through His instruments of healing power. Instruments like Father Joey Fallier.
So nag-start ako sa minor seminary sa Sariaya, Quezon. Gusto ko lang matutong mag-basketball. So yun ang first love ko, basketball. And seminary is the best place to learn how to play basketball. Doon na-develop yung yung aking desire to become a priest.
Father Joey Fallier, the one who believers say has healing powers, comes from a family of doctors.
Siguro, I developed that compassion for the sick very early in my life, noong bata pa ako.
Before entering the priesthood, he had to cope with a series of deaths in his family. He lost his sister in 1986, his father. Father Joey also lost his mother, just 3 months after he was ordained. Shortly thereafter, he joined the charismatic movement Oasis of Love, where he began his healing sessions.
Ang unang successive events na masasabi ko, sa mga praying over ko, may lumalapit sa akin, Father, may cancer po ako, gumaling, pinagaling niyo ako. Pinagtatawanan ko sila, hindi ako naniniwala. Because as a fresh graduate, I use more of my mind rather than my heart. Dumating yung panahon na sunod-sunod yung nagsasabi sa akin. Well, I began to ask the Lord now. Sabi ko, talaga bang tinatawag mo ba ako? Talaga po bang ito ang ministering ibinigay mo sa akin?
For 4 years, Father Joey struggled to accept his fate and ask God for a sign. And as his faith tells him, God gave him more than one.
So one of the signs given me ay yung babaeng ang naroroon na ako'y magmimisa doon sa lugar. Hindi ko akalain, hindi naman talaga ko inimbitahang magmimisa eh. Pagdating ko doon sa loob, Father, wala pong pare, pwede ho ba magmisa kayo? Oh my God, kinilabutan na ako. Sabi ko, who did invite me? And then suddenly, I saw in the back of my mind a woman in red na may karamdaman na cancer. Well, sabi ko, nagugulo yung misa ko. Sabi ko, meron bang babae dito na nakadress in red na may cancer na taga Manila? After the mass, pagdating ko merong isang babae, dress in red, taga Manila, may cancer of the bone. I prayed for her, and then after that, nawala yung sakit niya.
But there was a time when God would send his signals through a tragic event.
Diyan sa may Santo Tomas, Batangas, head-on collision. 120 ang takbo namin, 120 rin, di 240. Doon sa kabilang car, patay lahat sila. Doon sa car namin, walang namatay. Pero I sustained so many injuries. And one of the injuries na tinanggap ko ay itong ulnar nerve. Yung ulnar nerve is responsible for the two fingers.
The accident damaged the nerves on Father Joey's right hand and left it permanently deformed. He says his deformed hand resembles that of the hand of the Santo Niño.
The reason why I call this kamay ni Jesus. Sabagat ibinigay sa akin yung kanyang kamay, pinagkatiwala sa akin yung kanyang kamay, hindi man ako karapat-dapat.
Benny Javier twice suffered from a stroke, leaving half of his body paralyzed. He has gone through a lot of conventional and unconventional treatments, but none of those worked.
So I asked the help of God. So noon, tsaka kay Father Joey Falier, nung nagsimba ako sa St. Alfonso sa Magallanes Church, nung after the Mass, sabi ko sa wife ko, Mama, I'm going to Adoration Church. And then when I turn around, bigla na lang ako naglakad.
This experience made him actively involved in Father Joey's cause to build the Kamay ni Jesus Grotto in Lucban. Built in 2002, it is the third highest ascending Christ grotto in the world with 300 steps. But how did Father Joey make Benny walk again and heal the other believers?
Iba-iba kasi ng praying over. Merong pagpapatong ng kamay. Ako, kung napapansin nyo, I ask the people to hold my hands. Bakit? Sabagat ito nga yung hindi man ako karapat-dapat, ito yung binigay sa aking kamay ng Panginoon.
Father Joey also believes that being an instrument to heal the sick is written on the palm of his hands.
Ito rin, kakaiba rin ito. Kaunti lang ang mga taong ganito ang palad. Straight. Both hands. From there. Ang sabi nila, you have so much energy to give.
Naniniwala ako sa lakas ng healing power ni Father Falier. Kasi buhay na witness ako na nakikita ko yung mga lumpo na nakakalakad.
Word spread so fast. The healing hands of Father Joey invited so many believers.
Alam mo po na yung pagpunta namin dito, isang way para yung aming unting nararamdaman ay mapapagaling sa kamay ni Jesus.
Father Joey Falier, the passionate basketball player who became an accidental priest, is now the famous healing priest. This is not the first time that someone has gained popularity or notoriety for being a miracle worker. There's the healer, and then there's the hoax. So how do we distinguish one from the other? Kat Yarza, a college student, believes she is a living testament of Father Joey's healing miracles.
One sem na lang gagraduate na siya. Siya yung kumbaga active siya. Yan, and yun nga, active siya like normal teenager. Siya yun, yung mahilig gumimik, ganyan.
Life did change for Kat. In August that year, she was diagnosed with neurofibromatosis type 2. Neurofibromatosis is a genetically inherited disease wherein the nerve tissues grow tumors. These tumors can cause severe headaches, balance problems, vertigo, and facial weakness paralysis. They also target the acoustic nerves, which leads to deafness.
Kasi nasa auditory nerve yung kanyang tumor. So, ENT naman ang pinuntahan namin na doctor. Ang sabi ng doctor, may possible na open brain surgery.
Dr. Charlotte Chong, a neurologist, explains how this condition impairs the patient.
Once your nerves fail, it will be very difficult to restore them. Usually, irreversible ang damage to the nerves, and practically, even though we sometimes give all these medicines, we know na very nil ang chance of recovering the function of the nerves.
In January 2006, nangyari na yung kinatatakot ko. Katrina totally lost her hearing.
Even with the devastating news, Kat and her mother Madge remained optimistic.
Pero after Holy, parang na-realize niya na life must go on. Siya na mismo, humanap siya ng lunas kung paano niya ma-overcome yung yung kumbaga, yung paano niya tanggapin talaga na buong puso na bingi na siya.
As her world turned silent, Kat found her voice in the internet. Through her blogs and website, Kat reached out to the world regardless of her impairment. And it was in the World Wide Web where she found a possible cure.
Pwede kasi ako mag-vlog hacking. Tapos, nagasa ko lang siya sa isang vlog na nagpunta daw siya kay Father Joey. Tapos, gumaling siya. Tapos noon, sinerch ko si Father Joey. Hinanap ko siya, tinignan ko kung sabi ko, makapunta nga rin dito. Ayun nga. Nung tinerch ako ni Father Joey, nag-ano nga kami. Nag-joke nga kami nung hangi ko na, ano kaya sasabihin ko na sakit ko? Multiple choice kaya kasi ang dami kong sakit eh. Sinawakan niya ako. Tapos, nalangan niyang ginginga ako. Siyempre nagulat ako kasi usually we don't expect such type of reactions. We have evidence that her hearing was practically wala na talaga. And then, however, yung faith ni kay Kat was really something that was very significant for me.
When your auditory senses go, it's gone forever. After 2 healing sessions with Father Joey, Kat's acoustic nerves miraculously worked again. Although she can barely hear, she's not completely deaf. Kat's optimism worked miracles for her, and for many of us, the thought of a miracle happening is all we can cling to. Professor Nestor Castro, a socioanthropologist, tells us that given our Catholic upbringing and our culture of spirituality, it's easy to understand why Filipinos believe in faith healing.
Una muna, ang konsepto kasi ng Filipino religiosity talagang bahagi na ng kulturang Pilipino. At ito ay bago pa man dumating ang mga Kastila, bago pa dumating ang Kristyanismo.
Through the years, we've heard stories about certain gifted persons healing the sick and performing miracles. To those who choose to believe it, it doesn't matter how far they have to go. What matters is that they choose to believe.
Kung napagaling, siyempre lalo siyang maniniwala at magtitiwala doon sa faith healer, ikakalat niya yung balita, ire-recommenda niya sa iba.
People who apparently have healing powers often tell their patrons that they were bestowed with this gift, that they are just instruments of a higher power. Father Joey claims that he too is just an instrument of healing.
Sa palagay ko, wala namang faith healer na magkiklaim na siya ang mismong nakagamot, kundi naging instrumento lang siya ng isang mas makapangyarihan na nasa likod niya.
When a man of God, a priest, a nun or a pastor claim to have the power of healing, people are more likely to believe.
Tingin ko napakataas nung natin, mga pamantayan natin, mga standards natin sa mga pare. Parang sila ay mga hindi nagkakasala, sila ang kinatawan ng Diyos dito sa lupa.
Reason enough for the Church's reluctance to comment on such issues. What more in the case of someone who comes from them? We contacted the Catholic Bishops' Conference of the Philippines to give their comment on Father Joey's healing sessions. But we were referred to Bishop Emilio Marquez of the Archdiocese of Lucban, Quezon. The assistant told our team that Bishop Marquez did not want to say anything about it. He did not want to stir more controversies and branch out to more issues.
Sige po, hipuin ko lang po, Nay, ha? Masakit po ngayon? Masakit po? Naniniwala kayo sa Panginoon? Hindi na kayo nakakalakad? Hindi na po kayo nakakalakad, masakit po.
A lot of people have opened their minds and hearts to Father Joey, but there are also those who do not believe in this kind of divine intervention. Dr. Manny Lanuza is a sociologist who has done a study on faith healing. His study came out with conclusive evidence.
Kasi gano'n ang tao eh. Usually naman hindi siya pumupunta sa faith healer dahil gusto niya ma-convert o magbago ng ganyang pananaw. Kaya pumupunta lang siya sa faith healer para lang malunasan. Pwede rin, in that case, na-instrumentalize din or nare-reduce yung faith healing to just a mere instrument para lamang sa progress at sariling kapakanan ng taong nandun.
The inconsistencies of the results of faith healing has caused him to doubt.
Pwede niyang gamitin ngayon yan na parang ang tingin niya sa Diyos or bilang instrumento yung faith healer ng Diyos o supernatural being or power ay taga-dispense ka lamang ng grasya. Kaya ngayon yung masa mo, dagsa. Eh kasi kung taga-dispense lang naman ng grasya yan, parang nora-honor na yan, himala. Ano?
But Kat's doctor, who makes use of scientific analysis and methods, has a soft spot for miracles.
Actually, I only learned of the visits to Father Joey recently. When in the course of looking at Kat, I wasn't aware that she was actually going to a healing priest. Siyempre nagulat ako. But actually, I only know too well na yung mga pasyente katulad ni Kat, who has a very strong faith in God, can actually be healed. Kasi I've seen it happen a lot in some of my patients.
When someone is suffering from a fatal or crippling disease, they'll try anything to find a cure. When medicine fails, people usually turn to prayers for the answer. But the good news is, scientists of all people are finding reason to believe in the power of prayer.
Sabihin mo na, ako'y magaling na. Ako'y lalakad. Sa pangyayari ni Jesus, ako'y tatayo. Tayo po, nanay. Tayo. Manampalataya. Bahagi ng ating katawan na masakit. Hindi na maligalaw. Mga bahagi ng ating katawan na mamahing, namamalas.
January 19, 1993, Father Joey Fallier confirmed his ability to heal the sick after enabling a crippled woman to walk again through the power of his touch and prayer.
Tayo po, nay. Punta tayo sa mga. Lakad po tayo ngayon. Nandiyan na po ang lakas. Nandiyan na. Lakad na po.
Many of us have seen these occurrences on TV or maybe even experienced them firsthand. Televangelists or religious practitioners lay their hands on people and then summon the name of God to heal the sick. Thousands claim to have been miraculously cured by what they call faith healing or spiritual healing. How does faith healing work? Can a simple prayer or a mere touch really cure diseases that even doctors can't? In this day and age, faith or spiritual healing are believed to come in different forms, depending on the belief system or religion. Oriental healing expert Ed Sevilla says that faith healing is a centuries-old practice, which shows that Father Joey's miraculous healing capability is not an isolated case.
Thousands of studies have been conducted from a long time ago, particularly in China where this has started. But of course, during those times, they did not have yet the discipline. But much studies and so much testimonies attest to the fact that this works.
According to Ed, the common denominator for the possibility of this type of healing is the concept of energy transfer.
Ang minimum siguro doon, yung dahil nahahawakan mo, naililipat mo yung init ng kamay mo. Pero in the strict sense of using energy, so sa ganun, kung meron man, kailangan nating i-measure kung meron na transfer talaga.
Physicist Giovanni Tapang describes energy as the capacity of one thing to do work.
Usually, yung energy na associate natin to sa mga konsepto gaya ng init, Gaya ng kung paano natin painitin yung tubig, nilalagyan natin siya ng energy. So ganito natin nakikita sa araw-araw yung transfer ng energy.
It's all working with energy or chi. And the kung is how do we affect or manage this energy to either for oneself or somebody else.
Na-discover ko kasi, parang direct energy yung binibigay ko. Pag hawak nilang ganon, para bang mararamdaman yun ng mga tao eh. May current, may init, merong kilig, merong parang may pumapasok sa kanila.
It's not just passing energy, you know. Sometimes in Reiki, it's just passing because the energy is supposed to be intelligent and it would do whatever is necessary for the healing to come about.
Reiki is a Japanese technique for stress reduction and relaxation that also promotes healing. The term Reiki comes from two Japanese words, Rei, which means God's wisdom or higher power, and Ki, which means life force energy. So Reiki means spiritually guided life force energy. Reiki is administered through a laying of hands, similar to what Father Joey is doing during his healing sessions. And according to its principles, the healer can summon energies from nature and higher beings that include angels and God to help cure the ailing person.
Gathering this energy, you know, and you circulate this energy throughout your body, and then you can direct it towards somebody else for healing.
So is it safe to say that Father Joey's intense prayers can really summon the healing power of God?
Prayer has something to do with relaxation, because when you pray, you surrender yourself to a higher force. So you put yourself down, you relax your ego, and so therefore you are much more open for the energy to flow.
We asked physicist Giovanni Tapang if it's possible to see the activation and transfer of energetic forces in a more physical and detectable way.
So, ang problema ba doon, pag mineasure mo na, pag tinignan mo meron ba talaga nagtatransfer ng energy, etc., baka wala kang makita kasi hindi siya strictly the same as the energy as we know it.
This is the camera. Ang ginagamit ko is FLIR Infrared Thermacam E45. So mostly, yung camera na yun is nakaka-detect ng infrared. Infrared is a type of light that you cannot see. Well, if you think na merong kang pangangailangan na makita mo yung init, then magagamit mo yung infrared camera.
We asked the engineer to conduct the first experiment inside the Church of Kamay ni Jesus Healing Center.
I don't expect to see something na kakaiba. Kasi what I expect is just a thermal profile of a normal person. That's it.
It was almost 12 noon. The temperature was about 32 degrees Celsius. As Father Joey was doing his healing session, the experiment began. All parts of Father Joey's body registered 34 degrees Celsius except for one part, his deformed right hand. It consistently registered an average of 35 to 36 degrees Celsius.
At first, wala ako napansin. Pero habang tumatagal, meron ako napapansin na profile, heat profile dun sa kamay niya. So, nung una, hindi ko siya pinansin, naghihil siya, pero dapat medyo mainit na rin siya. Which is, hindi ko nakita na nagkaganon si Father. Ang nakita ko lang kakaiba kay Father is yun sa kamay niya, na meron ako nakikitang thermal profile doon sa kamay niya na kakaiba. Kung i-compare mo sa ordinaryong kamay ng tao, medyo may pagkakaiba siya.
And there is another amazing discovery. All the people being healed by Father Joey registered the same temperature to that of his hand, which is 35 to 36 degrees Celsius.
Nakikita ko yung mga pasyenteng ginagamot niya is mas mainit sa kanya. So basically, ang mangyayari dun is maita-transfer ng pasyente kay Father yung heat nila.
Natuwa ako nung nakita ko na kahit pala ako makikita ko yung heat makikita ko yung movement ng energy as it is experienced by people, by myself and other people.
Could these test results confirm energy transfer from one human body to another? Could these also explain why Father Joey is able to heal the sick?
I was a little bit hesitant dahil magkaiba ng anggulo. Pero this is the first time na nag-give in ako sa isang TV show na mag-subject to scientific, sabihin natin, investigation.
With this, Father Joey agreed to more tests, this time on more controlled conditions. In this experiment, we compared the hand and body temperatures of a person who has almost the same physiological profile to that of Father Joey.
To my surprise, mas mataas yung thermal profile ni Father Joey.
And really, it is an enlightening experience on my part to recognize that science and faith can be joining factors in discovering the truth.
From all over the world, the sick are converging to the tiny town of Lucban to experience Father Joey's healing touch. With thousands of people putting their faith in his hands, where then does the Catholic Church stand?
Through his healing sessions, Father Joey Fallier has gained the trust and confidence of thousands of followers. But apparently, the miracles he can perform are not limited to those he can lay his hands on. In fact, his works and wonders could cross over borders and reach anyone across the world.
Ang nakakatuwa dito, hindi lang yung praying over through physical. May mga pinipraying over ako through telephone. Sabi ko, will it work? Sa telepono lang. So I prayed over him. Then after 2 days, tinanggal yung life support. After 1 week, lumakas. After 2 weeks, chinek up, leukemia was gone.
There were also instances that Father Joey performed his healing sessions by praying over the patient's picture.
Panginoon, pagpalain po niyo pagalingin ng mga kapatid namin na may mga karamdaman. So ang dami kong mga pictures na naririyan na pinipraying over ko. And amazingly, they also experience healing.
While Father Joey's healing technique is based on the intercessory prayer to God, other forms of healing focuses on the mental state of a patient. Another school of thought also provides an explanation on the special abilities of Father Joey to heal the sick. Hypnosis. Dr. Leo Fils de la Cruz, a psychological intervention and stress management expert, tells us how the patient and the healer cooperate during hypnosis.
Hypnosis, ito yung isang technique na ginagamit na parang pinaparelax yung tao. Kasi pag kalmado ka, mas maganda ka mag-isip, mas makakasunod ka sa mga gusto mong mangyari. So it's a cooperation between the patient and the therapist.
It can be used for therapeutic purposes, or what is called hypnotherapy, commonly applied to modify a subject's behavior and emotional content. It is also used to correct dysfunctional habits, anxiety, and stress-related illness, as well as pain management and personal development. Aside from hypnotherapy, there is a medical phenomenon that revolves around the power of suggestion. It is what they call in psychology as the placebo effect.
Meron kasing tinatawag na placebo effect na maski wala namang medical value yung tableta na binigay sa iyo. Pero since ininom mo yun at ikaw ay naniniwala na magpapagaling sa iyo, nagre-report sila, gumagaling sila.
Church historian and professor Emil Kinatan says that praying can do wonders.
We must say formulated prayers. That is the prayers of the church, ang simbahan. No, we have the Holy Mass, for example. It is a powerful prayer. It is the apex, no, ang pinakatugatog ng form ng prayer sa yung apat pinagsasama. Adoration, thanksgiving, penance, and petition. In the healing prayers that we use, in my case, I use a spontaneous prayer based on faith, hope, and love. Andiyan yan eh.
So now we ask, is it the faith of the believer or is it the miraculous hands of Father Joey?
It used to be that science is science and faith healing is faith healing, and never the twain shall meet. Well, it seems that isn't the case anymore.
Katrina Yarza sought the help of Father Joey Fallier when she lost her hearing.
Pero dahil din sa kanya, dahil din sinabi ni Father Joey na makakarinig daw ako. Nagkaroon ako ng yuho ko, kalaging ganyan.
Her auditory nerves began to function again, which paved the way for an operation that eventually enabled her to regain part of her hearing.
Whatever can help my patient, whether it be their faith or modern technology, I think that should always be welcome.
Science and religion, magkaibang pananaw yun. Pero kung pagsasamahin mo, maybe you can brought up with something good.
Through her ordeal, Kat never lost her optimism. In fact, it inspired her to be a miracle for others.
Hindi ako nakakarinig, pero nakakasalita naman ako. Yung simpleng gagay lang, ganun lang.
For some, faith healing is a practice that remains to be proven. Whether it is a miracle or not, stays in a gray area. But for Father Joey, miracles could manifest itself in different ways.
The greatest miracle sa buhay ko, yung makapagbigay ako ng pag-asa sa mga tao. I can be an instrument of healing and I can be an instrument of people changing their lives for the better.
So maraming mga pwedeng gawin na scientific testing dun sa paraan ng pag-heal ni Father Joey. At kung totoong malawak yung maapektuhan ng pagpapagaling niya, then magandang talagang mapag-aralan siya kasi mas nakakatulong siya sa mas marami.
Still, the question lingers. Is it possible for a human being to become God's healing instrument?
Pwedeng ang mga doktor sasabihin nila, ay, ano yan, walang katotohanan yan kasi based sa examination namin, ganito. Pwedeng ang itanong natin yung mismong pasyente at sabihin niya, gumaling ako. Ano? So ako para sa akin, ang pinaka-importante yung tao mismong napagaling. Saan man nanggaling yung source ng kanyang pagaling, immaterial. Ang importante, nakatulong tayo doon sa kapwa.
Perhaps we can never have concrete proof that faith healing works. Perhaps it will always remain one of the great mysteries of the physical world. What matters is that it gives hope to all who need it most.
I would only quote a certain author, Chesterton. For those who do not believe, explanation is impossible. For those who believe, explanation is not necessary.
There are many sides to a story, and people have their own versions of reality. When something remarkable happens, people's interpretations will always vary. Because in the grand scheme of things, chances are, anything is possible.